Is it too late for like the new year, new me, changing things up and switching things? I don't know.
Got it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Oh my gosh! It's a whale! 9/11.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is a video that I've been putting off for a while, and I know a lot of you guys have been asking me about it. And yeah, so we're gonna do it. The 2021 rod and reel arsenal video. So we're gonna jump it off with the big rods, big reels, big baits. That's what we're gonna start off with. So 2021 rod and reel arsenal. Let's get into it. So some old, some new. That's what we got going here. Old would be, first off, we're going to show off the Komodo SS. So I've had the Komodo SS 300 size or 360 size spool for over a year now. Definitely over a year. A little over a year now. And I love this reel. The Komodo SS has been an absolute workhorse. It was my very first big swim bait reel. And it is one of my favorites. It's one of my best casting reels. I love everything about this reel. This is, I think I've only spooled it up twice, and I'm running 25-pound CXX on this guy. Now on the rod, this is again one of my very first heavy swim bait rods. Knowing what I know now, I probably wouldn't have gotten this rod. And the only reason I say that is, even though this is an 8-foot mag swim bait rod, like it's rated 2 to 8 ounces. I would never throw anything probably over 4 ounces on this rod. It is extremely too soft. There's too much load to it. But that's why I've got these oversized crankbaits on there. You know, I got the Big M 4.0 on there right now. It's a 2-ounce crankbait. You know, big oversized crankbaits. That's what I'll throw on this. I've thrown some A-rigs on it. However, it just doesn't really have the backbone for an exposed jig hook. That's why I've got this rod, for the bigger crankbaits and for some treble hook style baits. Treble hook style baits, I think is fantastic, but exposed jig hooks, anything like that, it just does not have the backbone for it. But that is the Komodo SS with the Cast King 8-foot Magnum swim bait rod. Again, rated 2 to 8 ounces. No, it's definitely not. But I love this reel. And you know, the rod will sling some big freaking crankbaits pretty dang well. Next up on the list, this was my second swim bait rod and reel that I got. This is the Genesis 2. They have since come out with the Genesis 3, but this is from iRod. The Genesis 2 large swim bait rod. Now this is rated for, what, 4 to 10 ounces? 4 to 10 ounces. I've never thrown anything probably over 6 on this, and it has no issue whatsoever. Now this is considered a moderate or a moderate fast action rod. The thing is, when you look at the swim bait rods and you see, you know, a fast action or a moderate fast or a moderate action, on these swim bait rods, do not equate that or, you know, compare that to, say, a traditional casting rod being like a medium heavy fast. It's not the same. There's so much more backbone to these rods. There's so much more heavy duty that a moderate fast on this is going to be more so along the lines of fast action. And I have this guy specifically for bottom crawling baits, kind of Butch Brown style swim baits, treble hooks up top, single jig hook. That's what I had this one set up for. Another one of my very first swim bait reels, the 13 Fishing Concept A3. This is the first generation, or the first generation of the Concept A3, and there's a 6:3 to 1 gear ratio. I love this reel. It's been good to me. It's been very good to me. Will I upgrade it to another 13? Probably not. That's just because, you know, my tastes in reels have changed and evolved over the years, but this will still be here. It'll still be working. There's no need to replace it right now. Knock on wood. It's a great reel. I love the rod. Another one of the kind of the OGs when I got into bigger baits, swim baits. Now for some of the new hotness, if you will. You know, this was a budget friendly, budget friendly. I'm talking like price wise, on the budget friendly, the 13 Defy Black. This is a 7 foot. No, it's 8 foot. I thought it was like 7'9". 8 foot Defy Black from 13. Again, now you can see I've got the Defiant 210 on here. This has got a great backbone to this rod. It can handle those exposed jig hooks. It's fairly sensitive. It's not the most sensitive rod, but for being a very heavy duty swim bait rod, it's pretty dang sensitive. And I have caught fish on this rod, primarily on A-rigs, I believe. Nothing on this guy just yet. And we got it paired up with a Corrado 300 or 301, Corrado 301 high gear. Now this reel, 6-to-6 gear ratio, this reel is not technically mine. It's on lease from Chris. I'm not going to tell you guys like I have the Corrado 300. I got a lot of experience with it. I've been throwing it a lot, and I like this reel a lot. And I'll probably save that review for another video. But we got the Corrado 301 on here. High gear ratio, 6'6". It's fantastic. I love the reel. I love this rod. If you are in, you know, that budget-friendly or budget-minded price range, looking for a swim bait rod, 13 Defy Black has done me very well. So that's another one of them. And then last up on these swim bait rods, probably my pride and joy right here. She's a little dirty. She's been getting worked lately. Is going to be the F5 Customs Ghost Code. F5 Customs Ghost Code. This is a moderate fast, rated 1 to 6 ounces, 8 foot rod. Moderate fast for sure. The great thing about F5, I mean, like he keeps it, this rod is extremely lightweight. It's extremely sensitive. It's got enough backbone for those 10-aught beast hooks, exposed hooks. I've got an 8-aught on there right now with a Beast Coast Creep on there. And I've got it paired up with the Alexa 300 Wind with the wind grips. And this is the 7.4 gear ratio. And the reason I have the 7.4 Lexa on here, for one thing, this swim bait and having a 10-aught beast hook on there, it's not a very thick exposed jig hook, but I want to use this rod specifically for more of my glide baits, more of my swim baits, more of my top waters, the big top waters, or, you know, swim baits that I'm going to be working a little bit faster and giving a little more action to them. Again, don't let the Beast Coast Creep fool you on there. This was working, and I mean, I had a bite, and I missed it. It was my own fault. But I do love this rod. I love everything about it. It's extremely lightweight for being an 8-foot rod. The ergonomics on this thing are fantastic. But that is my pride and joy when it comes to the big swim baits and big reels. Okay, now we're going to go complete opposite end of the spectrum. We're jumping into Finesse. Now, as you guys can tell, and if you've watched any of my recent videos, you've probably seen me throwing Halo rods. I've switched over to Halo. I'm not using Favorite. Not using Favorite specifically anymore. I'm going to be throwing Halo this year, and that's nothing against Favorite. It's just, well, I mean, it was time to move. It was time to, you know, expand a little bit, and had Halo reach out to me, and they said, you know, we'd like to work with you. I said, okay. I would like to be able to test a couple of the rods out just before I actually, you know, invest and switch over completely. And they did that. They were willing to let me test out a couple of rods. I liked how they felt. I liked how they fished, and I decided to go straight over to Halo. So primarily throwing Halo this year when it comes to spinning and casting rods. So this one right here is the 6'10" KS2 Elite. This is a medium spinning rod, medium fast action spinning rod. Again, 6'10", exposed blank on the reel seat, core candles, green accents, looks good, performed extremely well. It's very lightweight. The spinning reel that's on here is just a spinning reel that I've had sitting around for a long time. It's a freaking Cast King 1000 size reel. I got this guy, you know, rigged up for a drop shot right now. Got a little drop shot or a net bait crush worm on there. But this guy right here, again, very lightweight, very sensitive, 6'10", medium fast KS2 Elite from Halo. Now my next spinning rod, this is the one that you guys, if you guys watched the video where I said, you know, is this what Milliken is doing? When I was able to kind of figure out a pattern for following up on those fish in those cold temperatures, those finicky fish, this is the rod that I was throwing. This is the 7-foot Halo TI series medium fast action rod. Again, exposed reel seat, cork on the handle, very lightweight. The TI is going to be their top of the line. This is a $250 rod right here, and I was wrong. This is a 7-foot medium extra fast. This is one of those 47-ton Toray blanks, which is a very rigid rod, very sensitive, but they are going to be, you know, a faster tip than your normal casting or spinning rods. So if you are looking into Halo and you're looking at the TI series, just keep in mind these are going to be just a little bit faster on the tip. If I had more room, I would show you. So we might be able to do that here. So you can see where that bend is coming is going to be just right up at the very tip. I mean, I would say if you were to split this in eighths, it's within the first eighth is where you're going to get that extra fast action right there. But that thing just bend. I mean, it could probably touch the rest of the rod if it wanted to. But this is the one that I've been using on those Okashira screw heads with that little 3-inch mag draft. I love this spinning rod. It's actually made me a lot more confident and comfortable in finesse fishing lately. So, Halo TI, Halo KS2 Elite. Those are my 2 spinning rods for the year. Now next up here, some more TI series. These are my other 2 TI series rods. This one right here is the medium heavy. This is what, a 7.4? I can't even remember. 7.3 medium heavy fast is what this one is right here. And I have it paired up with my Tatula SV103, the newer model. This rod and reel in particular is going to be more so geared towards my Texas rigs. You guys know I like to work a Texas rig, and I like to work, you know, a lightweight Texas rig, maximum around 1/4 ounce. That's about as heavy as I like to go on most Texas rigs and how I fish them. But I've got the TI medium heavy 7.3 paired up with the Tatula SV103, the 2020 model. That is going to be majorly, you know, my Texas rig rod for this year. Now it's going to seem a little confusing when I show you the next TI, because this TI actually has a Texas rig on it. And the reason for that is, went out fishing with John and I was packing light and I had a jig tied on and I just could not get the jig bite, and I tied on a good old Texas rig and got bit. So this one right here, this is the 7'6" heavy fast, moderate fast, but a heavy fast TI series. I have it paired up with my other Tatula SVTW 103. Got those oversized cranking handles on there because this one is specifically going to be for my jig setup. I feel like this is going to cover anything from, you know, the heavy Gamakatsu or Gamakatsu sea wash hooks that are on those Beast Coast assault jigs, all the way down to the Beast Coast Vanquish jigs that I like to use a lot. This is what this one's going to be for, is primarily for jigs. But again, it can double up and I can throw a Texas rig on this thing just fine. I love the way that these rods feels. The TI from Halo are fantastic. They feel great. Again, you've got an exposed blank on there. I'm not going to go too much into the specs on these rods. I just want to show you guys what I'm going to be using this year. So the XD3 Pro, this one right here, I've got it paired up with, you know, my old Concept Z full armor bass. And if you're watching, this is still my reel. This is my reel. I've had the Concept Z for a long time now, probably close to 2 years, and that reel is still great. I got it paired up on the Halo XD3 Pro. This is going to be one of their more budget-minded, budget-friendly rods. These are $100. You've got EVA foam with a little bit of cork accents to the grip. The reel seat, the blank is completely exposed on this reel. Completely exposed. You can see it all the way through right there. Now this one in particular, guys, I'm switching over to a medium rod. a medium rod for jerk baits. But I got this rod specifically for jerk baits or for lighter weight techniques, casting, say I don't have a spinning reel, something that can double for, you know, a little bit of lightweight finesse style fishing. But this is the 7'3" medium Halo XD3 Pro. I have recently taken this out. I got a video coming pretty soon. You guys will see me throwing some very finessey baits on this and it working just fine. But I am switching over. I'm taking a lot of your guys' advice and switching over to a medium power rod for jerk baits. Also, I want to use this one for, you know, like weightless Senkos, weightless Texas rigs. That's what I had this set up for right here. Next up, I got a couple of the KS2 Elites in casting models. Now this one right here is the 7.5 Heavy Fast. 7.5 Heavy Fast, again, exposed blank, cork handles, cork butt right there. But the 7.5 Heavy, this one is going to be for my punching setup. My punching and flipping setup, I've got the SLX 7.2 gear ratio, just the regular old SLX 151 on there with some 50-pound braid. We're going to bump that up to probably 65-pound braid. But we're going to be using this one for punching and flipping specifically. 7.5 Heavy Fast KS2 Elite. And then another KS2 Elite that I've got right here. This one is set up with the SLX 8 gear ratio. This is a 7'2" Heavy Fast. This one's going to be my frogging rod. This is going to be my frogging rod. This is the one that I will use, you know, for specific frogs or weedless style baits that I can throw back into the slop. That's what I've got this one set up for. I'm going to be sticking with the 50-pound P-line braid on that SLX. 50-pound has always done me well. I'm going to be bumping to the 65 probably for a little bit more of that flipping. Might go with a 4-strand, something that's just a little more coarse that helps saw through that vegetation a little bit better. But 7'2" KS2 Elite, Heavy Fast frogging rod. And frogging season's almost here, and I cannot freaking wait. Now I got one more KS2 right here. This is a 7.4, 7.5 medium heavy, 7.4, 7.5, 7.5 medium heavy fast. This one is going to be used for my Topwater treble hooks. That's what this is going to be used for. Even though that is a heavy fast, I feel like it's got a good, almost moderate fast action on this rod right here. And I want a little bit of that moderate to moderate fast for those treble hook style open water baits, poppers, spooks, stuff like that. That's what I want. That's what we're going to be using on this guy. I'm going to be swapping that line out for probably that the P-line Topwater copolymer. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet. I used it last year. Had a lot of good success with it. But and then we just got a good old 13 Concept A2 on here. 7 gear ratio, nothing super fast. But that's what we're going to be rolling with for open water, Topwater this year. And then last but certainly not least, we have got the Cranking series from Halo. So these are glass rods, glass composite rods, and they are both a medium heavy, moderate action. You can see I got the little 6 cents axis on there because we're gearing up for a trasher pass on that. But got the what is it? 7.5. God, see. 7.4 and 7.2 medium heavy Cranking series from Halo. Cork, foam, moderate action, and these things are moderate action. I mean, they freaking load all the way through. I'll just about put that hook right in my leg right there. But these rods are, well, moderate action all the way. I'm pretty excited to be throwing these guys specifically for crankbaits this year. I know that our crankbait bite is about to heat up, and the reels that I've got on there, I've got a Revo Premier 6 gear on this 7.4 right here, and then I've got my SLX DC 151 on the 7.2. Nothing too fancy. That, you know, SLX is probably a little too fast for most crankbaits, but it's what I've got on there. And it's what I prefer. It's how I fish. It's what I do. So, hope you guys like this. I finally gave you the rod and reel breakdown, what I'm going to be using for 2021, and that's it. So, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you next time we're on the water.